Harris. Kamala Harris. Look here. This woman wanna play black so bad, she went and erased her grandmama and replaced her grandmama.
As you can see there, it says that she died in July of 1960. And so this is a huge scandal.
And her fake grandmama is this black woman who died 4 years before she was born. But in her book, she got a picture standing next to this dead woman with a smile on her face. I wonder how that happened.
Grandma Beryl died in 1960, 4 years before Kamala Harris was born.
And you gonna deny your real grandmama being up, showing up at your inauguration if you happen to get elected, which ain't gonna happen. Everybody I talk to don't like you. Ain't nobody gonna vote for you. Here's your choices, America. The liar or the crook. I think I might be going with the crook, goddammit. Yeah, the crook. He's got a lot of in him, y'all. He got 3 baby mamas, 43 felony cases and counting. Selling high-top tennis shoes just like Michael Jordan. Got shot just like Tupac. The motherfucker gonna drop an album next. We'll be right back. So I don't know what the you thinking of voting for Kamala. She's a puppet, y'all. Has 0 experience. Nobody respects her on the world stage. You motherfucker crazy. Think they're gonna be in charge? You know who's gonna be in charge? The government that just put a hurricane and killed American citizens. And now the Fed's saying there's no money left to respond to hurricanes. But there's plenty of money to send weapons and bombs and more money over to fucking Ukraine and Taiwan and everywhere goddamn else. All you federal motherfuckers. Charity starts at home.
Kamala is completely lying about her heritage. She pulled the good old Barack Obama, dropped a book, an autobiography that was meant to legitimize her to the black public. And for whatever reason, in the public's mind, when somebody drops a book and calls it an autobiography, they just assume that somebody along the way did the due diligence and therefore it must all be true because they found it in the nonfiction segment of the bookstore, a section of the bookstore. And that's just not true. That leaves a lot of room for politicians to lie. And that's exactly what Kamala did. And you can really see when you go through this book that it is just political blackface. She fails to mention that she is majority white. She fails to mention her white family members, her many white family members. And she neglects to mention them entirely, by the way, while going through great pains to instead offer alternative black relatives. Now, what am I talking about when I say alternative black relatives? I mean, they are not her relatives, but she refers to them as uncles and aunts. I mean, as just one example, Uncle Freddie mentioned in 2 pictures. One picture here, visiting my Uncle Freddie in Harlem. Harlem, haha, get it, black people, haha. I like Harlem. I like fried chicken. I like black-eyed peas. Yeah, and it turns out that guy in the background isn't even her Uncle Freddie. Harlem was always a magical place for me. Okay, cool. Then she mentions Uncle Freddie again. Here is her book. I'm blessed with an amazing family. Like anybody reading that objectively would assume this was her family. I'm blessed with an amazing family. I'll never be able to thank Auntie Chris, Uncle Freddie, and Aunt Mary enough for their constant encouragement and support. They always showed up for me, as they did here at a campaign event for my DA's race that we held at the San Francisco Jazz Club. Jazz Club, get it? Haha, black people, you like jazz. There we are with my auntie and my uncles and my family. And she later in the book, there's like a little paragraph where she explains that actually Uncle Freddie and Aunt Mary are not her real uncles and her real uncle and aunt at all, but they were just like family. But she doesn't say anything about that Aunt Chris she mentioned. She just says that Aunt Chris was the reason that she went to Howard. We don't know if it's a real aunt. Well, we know for sure it's not a real aunt because all of these people are Black. The point was just to make people just believe that she had this extraordinarily Black experience. Even when she shows photos of her fully Indian grandparents, right, her mother's parents, she sort of gives it this little Black spin, like this photo of her maternal grandfather in Africa. Of course, here it is. Grandpa and me when we visited him and my grandmother in Lusaka, Zambia, right? So again, yes, this man traveled. Yes, he was on diplomatic missions. Why did you decide to pick this photo in Africa? Because it's sending a signal. She's trying to Blackify herself by every means, any means available to her. And she really has, by the way, kept up this charade since the book. In fact, yesterday, before our episode dropped, she made a poor decision to tweet this. She tweeted, "Growing up, our mother worked long hours, so my sister Maya and I would stay with our neighbor, Mrs. Shelton. She helped my mother take care of us, and we used to call her our second mother." So she has a Black second mother. She's got a fake Uncle Freddie. She's got a fake Aunt Mary. She's got a fake Auntie Chris. It's just unbelievable. It's just really unbelievable. And yet all of these real white aunties and uncles were completely ignored. They just didn't make it. And we now know that she had real relationships with these people. So it's quite stunning. It is a lie by omission. Okay, it's a lie by omission when you're going around doing the rounds pretending to be Black. A woman named Dorothy, who grew up on the island in the presence of the lovely Miss Beryl, who she loved dearly. Dorothy really loved Miss Beryl and was so kind about it, confirmed that the photo was fraudulent. And since we dropped that episode yesterday, it's been crazy. The reason why we're running a little bit late with today's episode is because we've had more phone calls with Kamala's family members. And they have confirmed to us beyond a shadow of a doubt that the person that is pictured in Kamala's book is not the real Miss Beryl. Kamala cannot sue me for that statement. She cannot sue me for defamation. That is not the real Miss Beryl. That is not her grandma Beryl that is in that photo, okay? In fact, this family member tells me that not only is the real Miss Beryl light-skinned, like Kamala, but also that Miss Beryl had a sister, okay, that was even whiter than her, even lighter than her. Now, my understanding is that Miss Beryl looked to be mixed Indian and Irish. So they would say brown, they call Indians brown and Irish. So that's why when Dorothy recounts this, she's like, Kamala looks so much like her. Apparently, she was a little lighter than Kamala, but you would look at Kamala and you might go, okay, that complexion, you would definitely say, could identify that as someone with an Indian complexion, no doubt. And this is, by the way, how we now know definitively that Dorothy is on the money. We are in communication one step closer to getting in touch with Dorothy. We're trying to get her on the show because she also confirmed that Miss Beryl did indeed have another sister that she remembered. Take a listen.
Miss Beryl was a brown-skinned woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
That says it all.
In fact, I remember her sister.
Uh-huh.
I also remember her sister. But yes, remember, as I say, I have, you look back on things in your childhood, and Miss Beryl, I have very fond memories of going back from I was a child. Lovely, a lovely, kind woman that lived in this house with her son.